The 2024 NFL season is back, ladies and gentlemen, and I have some picks that can help you to win $1 million week one. Now, nobody needs to tell you to play Christian McCaffrey. No one needs to tell you to play Justin Jefferson or to play quarterback Mahomes. But in this video, it will have you happy like a fan because I got picks that nobody is going to probably consider to mix with their stars. This video got me want to jump up and down and dance with all the great homework that I did. So guys, sit back and relax because I know you can't wait to pick Lamar Jackson to put up 42 fantasy points to help you win week one, but I have some players that you can mix with him or maybe you consider using instead of him. Now the NFL teams are in training camp and I have some surprise teams and surprise players that you can use week one to help you to win big money. And it doesn't matter if you play FanDuel, it doesn't matter if you play DraftKings, it doesn't matter if you play Prize Picks or if you play on Underdog Fantasy. I have under-the-radar players that can help you to win week one. This video is designed for week one. So guys, without wasting any more of you guys' time, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. When healthy, there are not too many quarterbacks that can put up better fantasy numbers than Kyler Murray. And in 2023, he threw for 1,795 yards and 10 passing touchdowns in only 8 games played. He also rushed for 244 yards and had 3 touchdowns on the ground. Now let's look at Kyler Murray's returning players for 2024. First player comes to mind is wide receiver Wilson. This was their 3rd round pick last year, and this young man balled out in a major way. He had 58 targets, caught 38 balls, had 565 yards, and he had a 14.9 per catch average. He balled out against Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle, the Los Angeles Rams. This guy, week one, if you play FanDuel or DraftKings, I expect him to go over 14 fantasy points and will help you to take down a tournament in week one. Now let's move forward to their battering ram and running back Connor. Now Connor in 2023 had another solid season for the Cardinals. He only played in 13 games, but he did rush for 1,040 yards, had 7 touchdowns, making him another solid fantasy option, a perfect option for your flex position. So Connor in 2024, I expect more carries. That means more fantasy production. Now let's look at his number one target in Trey McBride. This tight end balled out, ladies and gentlemen. In 2023, he had 81 receptions, 825 receiving yards with 3 receiving touchdowns. And after week 4, he was one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL if you look at overall production. So this is who I like so far from the Cardinals. Let's look at the new players for 2024.
4th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr.
So the Arizona Cardinals just drafted this generation's version of Randy Moss. He is the stud, one of the best receivers I've seen in the past 10 years. And judging by what the last 2 top 6 receivers did, with Chase with 1,455 yards and Waddle with 1,015 yards, Harrison should finish somewhere in the middle or higher because he's just as good or better than both of these receivers. So my 2024 predictions for the Arizona Cardinals are as such. Kyler Murray will throw for 4,200 yards, will have 750 rushing yards, he will have 30 passing TDs and 6 on the ground. Wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. will have at least 1,100 receiving yards with 8 receiving touchdowns. And the wide receiver Wilson will have 950 yards with 6 receiving touchdowns. And the battering ram, running back Connor, will have 1,100 rushing yards. He will be a goal line beast, having at least 12 total touchdowns. And tight end McBride will have 125 targets, 95 receptions with 8 TDs, and have over 1,100 passing yards, making him a top 5 tight end. And if you add in the additions of wide receiver Zay Jones, this Arizona Cardinals team will be formidable in 2024. Now let's take a look at the Atlanta Falcons, and we'll start off with their star running back B.J. Robinson, who had 975 yards on the ground, 487 through the air with 8 combined touchdowns. And their star receiver London and their star tight end Pitts. Pitts had 667 receiving yards with 3 TDs, and London had 905 yards and 2 TDs, which was absolutely abysmal for a number 1 receiver and number 1 tight end. Let's look at the new players for Atlanta in 2024. When it comes to players, the Atlanta Falcons only needed one player. They needed a quarterback. and they got their man in Kirk Cousins. He will change the fortune of this franchise as he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. And in 2023, even though he was injured, in 8 games played, he still threw for 2,331 yards. And Kirk Cousins loves throwing to his number 1 wide receiver and his number 1 tight end. So Drake London and Kyle Pitts will break out in 2024. So my 2024 predictions for the Atlanta Falcons are: Kirk Cousins will throw for 4,600 yards, have 30 passing touchdowns, and be a top 8 fantasy quarterback. Over the past few years, when Kirk Cousins is healthy, he is always in the top 10 in quarterbacks. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because obviously you like my video. So let's keep on going. When it comes to London, London will have 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns, and I believe he catches 90 balls because Kirk Cousins loves to throw to his number 1 target. So Drake London will be a top 15 wide receiver, and Kyle Pitts will finally have his breakout season. He will have 900 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he will catch 72 balls. So if you like this video, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Until the next one, I'm Von the Statman.